So, in my mind, y'all, two things could be true at the same time. Although Carlos King said he felt as though Melody and Martell were made for each other, I do not believe by saying that he's saying that Melody was made to endure a toxic relationship and people shouldn't stay in a toxic relationship. I think sometimes the fans, sometimes they can take things to the extreme. Because I just feel like Carlos, when he said what he said, was just saying like, dang, they were dope together. I feel that way. I feel that Melody and Martell were really good together. If you take away the whole cheating part, of course. And like I always say, just the way that their kids interact with them. I don't know, I'm getting really good mommy daddy vibes. I just am. I brought this up because Carlos King said in a deleted scene from the reunion, but at one point in time, you two were madly in love with each other. Talking about Melody and Martell. Y'all were best friends. I think y'all can attest to that, to the fact that, because we all make jokes like there is something about the two of them. They were made for each other. And I'll say this to you, and I apologize for saying that to you a couple of years ago because I don't want to come across disrespectful. But I've always said, like, and I said this on my podcast, I think God created Melody and Martell for each other. And I will stand by that despite the backlash I may receive. I have never met a couple who's so in sync with each other. And that's why when we saw the Destin trip and we saw those little tidbits of the snacks and the foods, it was just a glimpse of like, there's just something about the two of you. And I agree. I remember when the show first started, Carlos had no idea that Martell was even cheating because he was always with Melody. They were just in sync, as he said. So I believe that they really did have really good chemistry. But, however, some fans said it's incredibly offensive for anyone to suggest any woman is made to endure what Martell has put Melody through. I don't think that's what he was saying. I think he was saying like when things were good with them, or from what we seen, it was good. They were good for each other, you know, in spite of the whole cheating stuff. And then someone else said, I don't understand this need to push this toxic relationship. It's sick. Martell is abusive and disgusting watching everyone coddle him. It says someone else wrote, I'm gonna need Carlos to examine why he thinks it's okay to tell this woman she is made for a man who is a cheater and an abuser and lacked the introspection to even try to change. Why is faithful about that? This is gross. While another YouTuber user wrote, we need to stop telling black women to accept less. We are not made for another person. That's gaslighting. We choose our person in marriage. He decided to choose his mistress so he can decide to move on, love herself. So she can decide to move on, love herself, and find her happiness. And I love that for her. And see, what the commenters are saying is true too. But I don't think that Carlos was saying Melody needs to stay with abuser, or she was created for this type of arrangement. You know, once everything happened, when Martell broke the vows, after some time, Melody she did what she needed to do and she left. But I feel like we can't negate the fact that at a time they probably were good as husband and wife, you know, as mom and dad. I just believe that. So I think that's the part that Carlos was speaking on. I'm just like, geez Louise. So some of these comments says, this show continues to highlight the problems of the black community, and it's astounding how Carlos doesn't even notice his own toxicity. I don't think he's a bad person, he just needs to do better. Someone else say, yeah, I don't think Carlos is a bad person either, but he needs to accept Melody's decision. She has a boyfriend and everything. It's inappropriate to film scenes like this with her now. Talk about her new man instead. Now that is a good point, because some people can see you so long in a certain way, like they probably only seen her or see her as Martell's wife, Martell's ex, that they do keep harping on the situation, which is rude to her new relationship and what she's trying to build with this new man. Now that is a very good point. I like that person brought that out. Someone else said, this was so hard to watch. It just seems like everyone wants Melody back with Martell. You know what? And that's true too. One thing I will say the fans are spot on about is this is not Melody's last hurrah. Just because it didn't work out with Martell does not mean that there's not a greater love, a greater relationship that she can experience. That's good. You know what we seen, what she had with Martell, beautiful. They had beautiful kids together. Great, when times were good. But she can also get with somebody that she's even more in sync with, that wouldn't even think about cheating on her with. So I do feel the fans from that perspective. And you know what? I think we do need to get off of the whole fact that, oh, they're so great together. Oh, they were so good together. It is what it is. Melody made her. Actually, Martell made his decision. As much as they may have been good together, maybe Martell didn't see it that way, and that's why he went out and got his mistress. You know what I mean? So if anything, we need to be telling Martell this. Martell, you two were so good together because Melody didn't step out of her marriage vows. Now, according to Martell, she wasn't doing A, B, C, D, elemental P, but so what? That's your spouse. You talk to her. You make it right with her. And I would even prefer you divorce her before you sit up there and go up there and have another woman. That lets me know if you didn't want to divorce Mel, that it wasn't all bad. And it could have been something that could have been worked out. And Martell has said this now in retrospect. But we do need to give this energy to Martell and not to Melody, making her feel away. I don't like that. Because sometimes people will do that to you. They make you feel like they try to make you second guess your decision. No, Melody did what she did. Martell broke up the marriage by cheating, his infidelity. Melody, I feel like she wanted him to stop. And I can't blame her. She didn't want to walk away from her marriage or the family or the things that she created with Martell either. But after a while, how much more could she take? You know what I mean? I feel like she probably wanted to be a good role model or uplifting and happy for her kids. I don't think she wanted to keep being sad and her kids see that. So she had to do what she had to do. And that's just what it is. So this person said, and a good bit of them are punishing her for leaving him. Ooh, see, that's what I be saying. Melody did the right thing. Women staying in bad marriages was normalized for way too long. So let's celebrate women leaving bad relationships. Yes, I feel that way too. I feel like they just want to tear her down on Mad Day because she had the audacity to leave a bad situation. It's like, oh no, don't you dare leave a man that's cheating on you and emotionally hurting you. Don't you dare do that. You better stay there and endure it. Especially, I could imagine that doctoring, that mindset being very engraved in the mind, especially in the South. I could really see that. But so someone else said, notice how Letitia didn't hate Mel at all when she was in Destin. Marceau either. That's a good point. That really is a problem here. Just about everybody on that stage, with the exception of maybe Tiffany, Lewis, Stormy, Kimmy, wants Melody and Martell to get back together. It's sick. So someone else said the whole reunion was offensive to my woman is A. Martell and Marceau both proposed to Letitia and Melody at pivotal times of their lives. College graduation and received job offers from a major corporation. When these two men saw their girlfriends were about to sashay their fine aids to financial independence, they panicked and locked them down with marriage proposal. It's always about control with Marceau and Martell. They don't actually respect women, and it shows. Marceau talks down to Tisha constantly, but then says she is lucky he saved her by marrying her and making her a housewife. Martell is attempting to regain control of Melody by turning the case against her and suing for custody. Knowing all this, reunion segments were turned into Tisha is dumb for staying after Marceau got naked picture and Melody what could have done differently so Martell didn't cheat on you. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, Carlos is misogynistic. This segment should have been, Martell, why did you ruin the family you loved? Ooh, right. And the segment about the picture should have been focused on why Marceau thought it was okay to disrespect his marriage over a potential employee instead Letitia was tasked with defending Marceau while he remained silent. This show really sucks. The misogyny is hard to ignore. Wow, that was a very good point. So someone else said, girl, don't forget about the silly narrative that Martell's cheating shouldn't have been discussed on the show. If it's one thing a black community does best, it's coddle black men. It's infuriating. It's infuriating that misogyny even has gay men in the chokehold. Black women don't really have any alliance outside of ourselves. And this is why I call out black women when they're being misogynistic on here. We are all we got. I honestly appreciate when you do it too. Thank you, Shannon. Oh, I love this. But this was very interesting. I love topics. I love when different perspectives come into play. This is basically an article from urbanbellmag.com that's titled Carlos King is called out by Love and Marriage fans over comments about Melody and Martell. So what do you guys think? I see both sides. I guess that's what I wanted to make this video about. I see what Carlos was saying because it is true. They have really good chemistry. They look great together, have beautiful kids. They were doing business together. So I feel like he was just paying homage to that fact. But I also see what the fans are saying. And it's just like at this point, it is what it is. They've been divorced for almost 2 years. It's time to move on. It's time to pack it up. Yeah, let's talk about Melody's new man and the things she got going on post-divorce, because life does go on. And I think that's what they need to stop making it seem like her marriage with Martell was her highest pinnacle. And I'm not taking away from the marriage, but she can also move on and get remarried. Men do it all the time. She can also go on and get a really good man, boyfriend, fiance, whatever. And it could be an even greater love, So we will see. Other than that, let me know. That's the thing. They want women to feel like they don't got no options other than them. You always got options. Even when it comes down to your job, your career, your friendships, whatever it may be, always have the abundance mindset. You have options. It's more at the store. If you don't see it on the shelves, it's in the back. They pulling it out. It's coming off the trucks, hot from the presses. Okay. So let me know what y'all think, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye.
Met Synquette, man, a girl was heaven sent. Met Synquette, man, a girl was heaven sent.